Montressa? All right, well, I am going to go ahead and get started. Since it's recording, we'll be able to share this out. Wanted to welcome everybody to our new tracks town hall, where we're going to be talking about our flipped course exercises track and our reflection exercises studio track. So the reason why we are doing this is because with new tracks, sometimes, and especially with all the disruption that we've been dealing with over the past year or so, we did not get as much traction, for lack of a better word, on these two new tracks. And I think it's because we didn't do a great job of explaining what it is we were looking for and what the vision is for these. With entrepreneurship education, two big things happen, right? We will need some opportunities to flip the classroom and look at things in a new and unique way. So that's the flipped class initiative. But then also with reflection, if you're doing things in a very active way of teaching students, you need to have some way of helping to reinforce and reflect on those ideas. And both are very important for teachers and for students. So I welcome everybody today, and I would also like to welcome, and I'm going to stop share here real quick so we can properly see Leanne Michelle. Leanne, welcome.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this track. I really am.
Absolutely. And Leanne is our track chair for our flipped classroom or flipped course exercises track. And it was kind of a brainchild that Leanne had after winning the research competition last year for creative research idea, correct? So want to tell us just a little bit about that and how this kind of came to be?
Right. So what I was doing, I was in the process of redoing my entrepreneurship course to go from using a business plan model to using the business model canvas, having my kids do the business model canvas because I thought it was a little bit more direct. And I started using Steve Blank's videos. Steve Blank is from Stanford, and he has a whole bunch of videos online that introduce students to the business model canvas. And what I noticed when I was watching them was that each one of these videos was easily digestible. It was anywhere from 45 seconds to 5 minutes long. And while I was watching them and, considering them for my students, I started thinking, you know what, this is actually really great, because I started to think how students really don't like textbooks so much anymore because there's so much information there and there's so much to absorb, and they just really have a difficulty absorbing it, right? I mean, they go into their exams, they cram, and then everything's forgotten the next day. And then I started thinking about my own kids too. And I started thinking, well, here they've got TikTok, 1 minute videos, Snapchat, very, very short 1 minute videos that disappear, right, after you watch them. And then there are other models online. So if you're familiar with Blinkist, they summarize books into 20 minutes, popular books into 20 minutes, which is really fantastic. And even the online programs like Rosetta Stone and Coursera, they're starting to make these videos and introduce topics in very, very small chunks. And I really liked the 45 second to 5 minute window for students, because it's really easy for them to look at a video, absorb everything in it. I have them answer a question on the video to make sure that they're actually watching it. And then they can come back to it. It's easy to come back to. They can skip around and just learn whatever they want, when they want, and when they have time. So that's kind of what brought me to this micro-learning technique and wanting to, and then I started speaking with you, Julie, about putting together a library of this for different professors to use, which I thought, this is really great. The students are loving it. The students that I've had do it are really loving it, aside from, instead of using the text so much. And, we started talking and saying, wouldn't this be great if we could get a library together where professors could access whatever topic it is that they're trying to teach, and have access to, say, a short video that is 45 seconds to 5 minutes long, along with another exercise to reinforce it in the classroom.
Absolutely. And as Leanne was talking, I was really thinking about, back a while ago, I was really thinking, you know, our USASBE members are brilliant, are so talented, and have this broad knowledge of things that we love to go to conferences and share ideas and kind of trade on different exercises. And we can utilize this new modality of both in-person and virtual to really start collecting some of these kind of short pieces that if everybody, not that everybody will, but if everybody in USASBE put together one short video of one tiny little thing that they think the world would like to know, or that students would like to know about entrepreneurship, along with an exercise of some kind to pull it together, that would be a huge library. That it's like crowdsourcing a flipped classroom library. And this is essentially kind of what we do at conferences anyway, but this is a different way of thinking about it, collecting it, and utilizing it. So that's what this particular track is about. So, but there were some questions that have come up. And so this is what we wanted to just touch base on and make sure that we have a clear kind of understanding about it, is that the goal is to have, it says 3 to 5 minutes, but it can be 45 seconds. It doesn't have to, there's not a 3-minute must be, but a short original video micro content piece that the submission, that the author wants to create, along with some kind of an exercise that can be done in the class to further delve into the topic. The video itself is not required for submission. It really is just the idea and the topic and how you plan on what does that exercise look like. And like I said, the intent is to start building this crowdsourced toolkit of flipped classroom exercises, micro content that can be shared with students, along with a corresponding exercise that USASBE members can access. Now, here's the thing. We're not charging for this. It's only for USASBE members. But we wanted to say that if there are individuals who are trying to do this on their own for their own business, maybe this isn't the right track, right? That's maybe that's the thing that they're just like, no, I don't want to share my idea because I don't want it taken and used somewhere else. I mean, the whole point of USASBE is to share ideas and to help each other out. And so that is the ethos of this particular track. It's if you're wanting to share something that you know that you want other students and other institutions and creatives to learn about, this is definitely the track that you'd want to consider. Leanne, did you have any questions or thoughts about this as well?
I just want to say how excited I am to see everybody's submissions, because I know how excited my students are when they watch the videos and then they do the in-class exercises, and they just get so much more out of it. And the business model canvas videos that I'm using, there's almost 200 of them that they're watching during the semester, and they have no problem with it. So I'm really excited to see what people come up with and the exercises, you know, the ideas that they have. You know, it's almost like having a guest speaker in your house, in your class, when you, I've been spending too much time on Zoom. When you do one of these videos, and why introduce these topics yourself when you can have someone else who's an expert at it, introduce it to your students, and then you can reinforce it in class.
Absolutely. So here's kind of just an idea, kind of a visual for what we envision this looking like as we start to build it out over the next couple of years. Those will be across the top. You'll see these are example kind of modalities, if you will. So it could be about mindset and competencies, or maybe there's a short case that you would like to do a flipped classroom exercise on, or maybe it's something that has to do with skill building or some kind of tool itself that you want to share and expose, expose some tips or tools to the community. Maybe this is more for community members and not necessarily college students, or maybe it's K-12, right? So we're kind of thinking about what are all the audiences and ways of thinking about the content. And then the topics are kind of down on the left-hand side. So maybe it's a thing about pitching or contracts or marketing or venture financing, et cetera. And as you kind of look at this kind of building out this matrix over time, there's not just necessarily one thing in each cell, but maybe there's a couple different things, right? Maybe there's educators will have a couple different things to choose from if they're trying to put together their syllabus and they're trying to figure out, how do I have a flipped classroom exercise on week 3 on Tuesday, and we're covering customer discovery, and I just want them to start to build some skills, right? So that's kind of how this is intended to work. It certainly won't be filled out right away, but this is trying to build some tools for faculty. Do we have any questions about this at this point? Leanne and I wanted to pause at this moment and see if anybody has questions or thoughts or concerns that we can answer or address.
I guess I just have a technical question. How do you present those videos? And this is for Leanne. How do you present those videos, and then how do you ask the questions based off it? Is it just posting it and then having like the quick response or something like that in the class? I'm just curious.
No, it's a great question. So what I have them do is I have them watch the videos for homework, and I have taken each one of those 200 videos and put them on Edpuzzle and inserted a quiz question at the end of it so that they have to watch the whole thing in order to answer that question. And it's just one question because they're so short. It's just one question per video that they have to answer. And that way I can actually track that they're watching the videos and getting something out of them.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And then sort of you can see the engagement. And then if you're going to like ditch a textbook, then you're like, well, people are actually watching this. It's basically a visual textbook. I was wondering if it was Edpuzzle.
Right. Yeah, it was Edpuzzle. And, you know, the nice thing is that yeah, it's a visual textbook. They're doing it on their own. I know that they're doing it because if we gave them a textbook, frankly, we know that a lot of times they don't do it. We don't know whether they read it or not. And if I just gave them the video, it's going on in the background maybe, or they're not watching it all, or whatever, we don't know. So this way, it's a nice way to verify.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Any other questions about this particular track? All right, rock on. Well, we're going to keep moving to the reflection exercises track. And unfortunately, our track chairs are not able to be with us for this one. It's Gustav Haag and Agnieszka, Krzuska, sorry. I know I hacked that up, but Agnieszka is the right way to say her first name. But I wanted to just touch base about this reflection exercises track. Now, this track is something that is, we're trialing this out. We plan on having all of the reflection exercises be scheduled for Sunday, October 9th in the morning. A couple different reasons why, but the main reason is the presenters could actually use some of the things that took place during the conference as a point of conversation, as an example that they could utilize for doing the exercise itself. Not that it has to be; it certainly doesn't have to be, but it's a way that we could kind of pull it together that way. The intention is that these are innovative reflection techniques that they can be used by participants and members of USASBE who are at the conference in their classroom, like the next day type of thing, right? So you can immediately start putting these to use, and that these are also some things that can be experienced in person, online, or could even be exhibited. So we've had some individuals kind of say, hey, maybe we could do a display wall or etc. So there's also other ways that we can pull this together. Creativity is definitely encouraged. And like I said, it can be proposed either virtual or in person. And Agnieszka and Gustav had wanted to share a couple different things about why this is so important, why reflection is incredibly important for entrepreneurship education in particular. Because we talk about entrepreneurship as being a very practice-oriented way of learning, to really accumulate the knowledge and to really start changing behavior and development, reflection is a great way to do that. And so this idea of a systematic process of condensing and making sense of the entrepreneurial experience that students just did or had, it's important to reflect and to often do that in unique ways that might actually even you know, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm just doing a reflection diary or reflection journal, I'm going to get tired of that over the course of a whole semester, potentially. But if there's some aha moments and some unique ways of doing reflection, that also has a good opportunity and a good way of hitting home that reflection is important for entrepreneurs and learners alike. So they would really like that people propose and discuss reflective exercises, techniques, or any tools that will help make practical learning activities be a more integrated part of the learning process within the entrepreneurship classroom. Okay, so that's really the whole point there. And they do want it to be some kind of consolidation between theory and practice, which I think generally it is, but that is important to them when you're making your submission. Any questions about the reflection exercises track? Cool. All right. And then how to submit and when to submit. So you go to USASBEawardsplatform.com. Many of the individuals who have already submitted to the conference will already have a profile there, but if you have not yet, and actually the past couple of weeks, I've been going to conferences introducing USASBE to members, and they're like, oh man, I missed the deadline. Well, for many of the tracks, you missed the deadline, but not for these two particular tracks. And so you can go out there and create a profile. There are templates that are available right on the call for engagement, but also in the platform where you can download those templates, prepare your submission, and then use those templates to upload your submission by October 31st, 2021. Acceptances are going to be sent out by December 1 so that people still have an opportunity to reserve their hotel room, register for the conference, etc. All right, any questions about how to submit, when to submit? It's pretty good. I think the other cool thing too is that these are very, very possible to do these virtually if people are not able to come in person. Of all of the tracks, these two in particular are really good for virtual participation in the conference. So if you are a doc student, a young professor who might not have funding to be able to come to a conference, but you still need to start contributing or submitting things that are peer reviewed, these are excellent opportunities to do that. All right, last thing. Just make sure everybody knows, last final thing. This is the last call for tracks. It won't be extended past October 31st. There's no way to do that. I would lose everybody in headquarters if we pushed it back even farther. But I want to encourage everybody to consider, is there some piece of knowledge that you would like to share and put into the flipped classroom exercises track that can be shared among USASBE members? Or maybe there's a great reflection technique that you have been using that you want to share, or that you'd like to model out and test out with members at USASBE. That's it. Anybody final questions?
I just want to add that I really want to encourage people to submit to both of these tracks. I think both of them are really, really exciting. The videos for the flipped exercises it sounds really daunting, but they're really quite easy to make. You can make them in Powtoon. You can just do them, make them in Zoom even with a PowerPoint in the background and walk people through it so that they have the important concepts. or you can use whiteboard. There are a whole bunch of programs that you can use to get your point across, or even get creative with these and keep students' attention. So both tracks I'm really excited about. I think there's a lot to learn from our colleagues and fellow participants and fellow members. So I hope to see some really great stuff. And thanks for coming.
Fantastic. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out to Mike Harris at ECU. Thank you for being a host sponsor. You guys rock.
It's our pleasure. It's extremely exciting. And this is another great example of just the assets of USASBE for everyone involved. So, it's great to have it at the conference, but then even after the conference is over, these are assets that anyone involved in USASBE is allowed to use. So it's great to have a library of resources. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's a learning community.
Absolutely. All right. See everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Question from Derek. Yes, we are recording this, and we will upload this for sure, Derek.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks.
Thanks, team.
Everybody.